Good evening. This is the QTV Nightly News coming to you from our studios on Keraba Avenue, and I am Asma Uba. Thanks for joining us. Here are the main news headlines. The Presidential Meet the People tour reached the West Coast region, and President Barrow told Gambians to prepare for how the National Development Plan will transform key sectors of the country, including agriculture, health, education, tourism, and transport. As evidence of his above statement during his tour of the West Coast region, President Adama Barrow inspected work on major development projects that are designed to transform the socio-economic status of the country. The Vice President of the Gambia, Mohamed B.S. Jallow, addressed global leaders at the Heads of State Summit at the ongoing COP28 conference in Dubai in the UAE. In international news, Guinea-Bissau's President Umaro Sissoco Embalo announced on Saturday the foiling of a coup marked by gunfire and clashes in the capital while he was attending the UN's COP28 climate conference in Dubai. And in sports news, a Finland-based Gambian bodybuilder, Dauda Baji, alias King David, tells us how he dieted for more than a year to prepare for a pro qualifier competition. These and other stories coming up. Do stay tuned. Thank you for staying with us. Over the weekend, President Adama Barrow had two joint meetings in the West Coast region, where he called on Gambians to brace up as his government, through its National Development Plan, is set to transform key sectors of the country, of the economy, including agriculture, health, education, tourism, and transport. QTV's Momodu Lamin Choi has the rest of that story.
Following a 2 days break, the presidential tour continued, covering more places in the West Coast region. The president arrived in Birkama for a joint meeting of the constituencies of Kombo East, Birkama North and South. Given the population size of this region, a large number of constituents and their local authorities attended the meeting for direct interaction with the president. This meeting featured speakers rallying support for President Barrow's government's development record in addressing challenges facing the country. Also, the constituents highlighted some development needs for the construction of more roads and provision of electricity. Councillor Janaba Jata, referencing the ongoing Operation Clear the Roads exercise, appealed to the president to provide an alternative location for the women affected by the demolitions, citing women's role in maintaining families' upkeep. The chief of Birkama North, Alhaji Mondo Jada, appeals for people to set aside political differences and be united for the development of the country. The Minister of Transport, Works and Infrastructure addressed the gathering on government's nationwide road projects and reveals plans to expand and construct more roads in the Greater Banjul area. Minister Silla advised anyone wishing to build houses to consult the Department of Physical Planning to avoid constructing on a right-of-way. Having listened, President Barrow responded to the comments of the constituents. He started by inviting every local government authority to be united and join his crusade to develop the country. The president unveiled plans to construct a new hospital in Birkama, which he revealed will mean demolishing the present one to expand the Birkama market and to construct 1,200 more shops. On road construction, President Barrow reveals the government is set to construct almost 200 kilometers of urban roads. In his government's National Development Plan for Gambians, President Barrow promises universal access to electricity by 2027 and a plan to build a new port, expand the current one to increase its cargo volume. In addition, he also revealed government's plan to build more ports across the country to ease transportation of people, goods and services at different parts of the Gambia. President Barrow announces that such a project is possible with support from the U.S. government through the Millennium Challenge Corporation. He further outlines plans to digitize the economy to ease trade and commerce, which involves financial transactions through a digital payment system. In line with his National Development Plan, President Barrow reported that 7 major hospitals and skill centers are being constructed across the country, with some awaiting inauguration early next year. Commenting on the ongoing Operation Clear the Roads, he stresses the national interest, including development priorities, as the reason for it. In that, he invites women leaders to sit with the Minister of Local Government to discuss the problems affecting them in the market for government to find solutions. Following the Birkama meeting on Sunday, President Barrow proceeded to Lamin for a joint meeting of the constituencies of Busumbala and Old Yundum, which presented more opportunities for people to express support to President Barrow's government and calls for more social services to improve their socio-economic status. At this meeting, President Barrow further sets out his government's national development plan, listing expanding access to justice, improved public service delivery, quality education, land reforms, and the coming up with a new constitution as part of the priorities of the new NDP. Mohamed Lamin Choi, QTV News.
The Gambia government is implementing projects to expand and improve people's access to health services, electricity and skills training. During his tour of the West Coast region, President Adama Barrow inspected work on major development projects that are designed to transform the socio-economic status of the country. Mohamed Lamin Choi again.
President Adama Barrow is visiting the Jambur Solar Power Plant 10 months after he laid the foundation stone for this project. This is Gambia's first utility-scale solar plant, and the contracting company for it is TBEA, China's leading large-scale energy equipment manufacturer. When this project is completed, it is expected to generate 41 million kilowatt energy per year, which will have the capacity to supply more than 35,000 families and reduce power outages in the country during peak demand in the Greater Banjul area by up to 50%.
For the first time in the history of this country, we are having a solar plant, and this 23 megawatts. These are social projects because we have been having challenges when it comes to energy. And also, if you look at the target period was December, but they will finish by January. We are expecting to officially open the project and using solar energy in February, latest February.
President Barrow's next stop on this tour is at Farato, where an emergency treatment center is being constructed. This is the first phase of a teaching hospital funded by the World Bank to the tune of nearly $23 million, which, when completed, will accommodate up to 1,500 patients. President Barrow is satisfied with the progress of work a year after he laid the foundation stone.
This is a specialized hospital. That means all special issues can be taken care of. ICU, people who are seriously sick can be taken care of there. And also blood transfusion, and many things can happen in that hospital. We have special rooms also for admission for people who are seriously sick. So this is a big project. It's a project that we are targeting over 1,500 beds. It will be the biggest hospital in this country.
The president's final project visit on Saturday is at Birkama, where the University of Applied Sciences, Engineering and Technology USET campus is being constructed. The first phase of this project will prepare space and equipment for training in technical fields such as civil engineering, electrical and electronics engineering, and mechanical engineering.
It will be the first time in our history, to train engineers back home. All our engineers are trained outside. To address that, we said no, we have to build our own institutions so that we can train our engineers. And this building is part of Ndemba, this official building. And they are also at 40-something%, but their target is by June. They will be finishing this project.
With the project reportedly 45% completed, Professor Pierre Gomez, the Minister of Higher Education, sets a timeline for the commencement of lectures at this USET campus.
Next academic year, God willing, it will be held here. Okay. Like all the lectures will be held here next academic year, the roadmap. So,
the equipment also.
Yes. And the good thing is the building is yet to be finished and all the equipment are all here. State-of-the-art equipment.
These three major projects, when completed, are expected to promote Gambia's human capital development, boost energy supply and improve the state of Gambia's health and education sectors. Mohamed Lamin Choi, QTV News.
The Vice President of the Gambia, Mohamed B.S. Jallow, addressed global leaders at the Heads of State Summit at the ongoing COP28 conference in Dubai in the UAE. Jennifer Sonko has the details.
The theme of the summit is climate transition and adaptation, highlighting a collective journey towards a sustainable future, transitioning from practices that harm our planet and adapt to changes we are currently facing. Speaking at the summit, Vice President Mohamed B.S. Jallow reaffirmed the Gambia's readiness to play its part in the global effort to combat climate change and create a better world for future generations.
We recognize that transitioning to a low-carbon, sustainable economy is not only an environmental imperative, but also an economic opportunity. Therefore, we are still committed to promoting the use of green and clean energy, sustainable agriculture, and eco-friendly technologies. We have the fervent belief that this transition will not only reduce our carbon footprint, but also create jobs, stimulate innovation, and improve the quality of our life of our citizens.
The Gambia adopted its Nationally Determined Contribution NDC in December 2021 and submitted its Long-Term Climate Neutral Development Strategy 2050 to the United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change in September 2022 in compliance with its regulations under the Paris Agreement. The Gambia's NDC is ambitious enough to contribute a fair share to achieving the net zero emissions target. Vice President Jallow expanded on measures in the Gambia to combat climate change.
In addition, we are working on local adaptation measures that range from reinforcing flood mitigation infrastructure to implementing climate-resilient agricultural practices, including recently launched climate-smart agricultural projects, climate-resistant fisheries, and adaptive capacity strengthening of our rural population through climate-resilient and diversified livelihoods.
Activists argue that the Gambia should concentrate less on its carbon emissions, considering it's less than 0.01% of global emissions, and focus on protecting biodiversity. Lamin B. Diba, the former Minister of Environment and current Gambian ambassador to the United Nations, shares his opinion.
So Gambia is leading to show the world that, yes, however small we are contributing, we want the whole world to follow the same trajectory to ensure that we reduce our greenhouse gas emission. That will lessen the incidence of sea level rise, which Gambia is highly prone to. And also looking at the NDC in totality, we have various key sectors like agriculture that deals with land management. We have the forestry that also deals with forest cover. We look at the biodiversity in general. So perhaps maybe is the limited exposure to the entire nationally determined contribution.
According to the World Bank, 140 million individuals living in sub-Saharan Africa, South Asia, as well as Latin America will be forced to migrate in 2050 if countries do not agree to transition. Now, we are at the COP28, discussions are going on, but the big question is, are leaders reflecting on the plight of the individuals who will be affected in 2050? Now, discussions at the end of this conference will get to determine that. Reporting for QTV News in UAE, Dubai, I am Jennifer Sonko.
Okay, from that story by Jennifer Sonko, we'll now go for a commercial break. But when we return, we have more stories for you. Don't go away.
Réew Gambia ndajeem jënd ak njaay mi fi faral di am dellu si waat na sa Independence Stadium di Gambia Youth Chamber of Commerce ñoo am lëkkaloo ak di Gambia Women Chamber of Commerce dikkati neen si juróomi pàcc bu jigéen ñi ak ndawi réew mi ñuy yëngu si fàggu koom-koom mbay muy agro business ak tourism trade fair si atum ren bi ndajeem jënd ak njaay mi mu ngi yokk ak di fulandil ay jumtukaay yu xarañ tukkee si ay ndaw ak jigéen yu màcc ci baana fii si réewu Gambia dinañ fa dalal ay baana yu xarañ jógee sa Afrique saw jent ngir suqali nangute bi mootaay réewu Afrique fas ngir jëriñ seen doomi réew tukkee si jënd ak jaay dinañ fa am ay yëngu-yëngu yu bégle te am solo lu si mel ni jongante xarañteef màggal bési jigéen ñi ak ndaw ñi woy ak feeñal aada ak cosaan ak yeneen xeetu xew-xew yu neex yu kawe seen njott gaaw leen bindu ngir taxawal palaasu njaay di tàmbale benn fan jëm ba si ñaar fukki fan ak juróom si décembre dégg ngeen ma de si diiru ñaar fukki fan ak juróom ngir sabablu jënd jaay nangute ak lëkkaloo tukkee si wàllu baana di xewee sa bërëbu Independence Stadium sa Bakaw pour am si ay bataaxal yu leer wooteel 368 5556 368 5556 203 1080 203 1080 wala 5200045 5200045 ñu tasee Trade Fair.
For all your electronic cooking utensil needs, worry no more. Deka Killer Jongoma Kitchen is the solution. Deka Killer brings modern, efficient and affordable cooking materials such as gas cookers, heaters, coffee machines, fridges, ceiling and stand fans, among other valuable home and restaurant materials. Located at Serekunda Bambo opposite Sanchaba Garas, Deka Kila is making fun life easier by offering you guaranteed and cost-effective electronic cooking materials. You can contact us on 348-2307 or 728-5372. We are also on Facebook, Deka Kila de Gambia. Email dekakilagambia@gmail.com. Deka Kila Kerjongoma Kitchen is the solution for all your home appliances and electronic cooking utensil needs. Roast now, Deka Kila making fun life easier. Deka Kila everything for cooking. Deka Kila is the right place to be.
Welcome back. If you're just tuning in, you're watching QTV News, and I am Asma Uba. Now, the Food and Agriculture Organization, FAO, and partners held the closing ceremony on the 15th meeting of the multidisciplinary team of West Africa and the Sahel on Friday. As QTV's Lole M. Kamara reports, the meeting ended with renewed commitment from member countries.
The meeting from the 28th of November to the 1st of December ended with renewed commitment from the 100 participants from the 15th ECOWAS countries. Recommendations included engaging member states, food value chain actors and other stakeholders of agri-food systems to take concrete actions on the ground to reduce and prevent post-harvest loss and food waste, putting emphasis on investments for food preservation and conservation through sufficient means. The FAO Assistant Director General, Regional Representative for Africa, Dr. Abebe Haile Gabriel, reiterates FAO's commitment to supporting the governments across Africa and West Africa, including the Gambia, in their efforts towards transforming agri-food systems.
A clarion call for all of us to really start changing the narratives about food system transformation and take the lead role to own it. It's our problem. We need to fix it. We can fix it.
Accelerating investments towards agri-food systems transformation in West Africa and the Sahel was the theme for this convergence. In her closing remarks, the FAO country rep, Musubudi Rampidi, on behalf of the FAO team, expressed appreciation to the participants for their insightful and interactive discussions towards accelerating agri-food systems in West Africa. The FAO Sub-Regional Coordinator for West Africa, Dr. Robert Gay, has this to say about the outcomes of the meeting.
This is great. And the discussions has been also high-level discussion, sharing experience. It has been interactive. People has been really talking from their heart, changing and sharing what they know in the countries and in Africa, in West Africa. And I hope that we will use all this as experience to enrich our career and also to contribute to agricultural development in our countries.
Sehu Sanyang, the Deputy Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Agriculture, on behalf of the Minister, states that the role of private sector investments, commercialization, and the regional market integration feature strongly in their discussions, adding that the agri-food systems in West Africa and the Sahel is highly endowed with natural resources, but is only with collective planning and consultation, collaboration, and teamwork that the sub-region will begin to successfully transform its agri-food systems. These participants are calling on governments, the private sector, and the key stakeholders in agri-food to develop partnerships and implement tangible actions for developing sustainable cold chains in the agri-food value chains to achieve a real progress in reducing hunger and make agri-food systems more efficient and inclusive. For QTV News, Lolly M. Kamara.
Now that story by Lolly M. Kamara will now take us to international news. Now, Guinea-Bissau's President Umaro Sissoco Embalo announced on Saturday the falling of a coup marked by gunfire and clashes in the capital while he was attending the UN's COP28 climate conference in Dubai. Lena Igwenyiba brings the details.
Expressing resolve, President Embalo promised severe consequences for those behind this second failed coup in less than 2 years. The unrest unfolding from late Thursday into Friday mid-morning saw the capture of Colonel Victor Chongo, the alleged leader behind who, it is alleged, was attempting to free detained officials, triggering a tense standoff as National Guard members sought refuge in city barracks. Intervention by special forces following failed negotiations led to an exchange of gunfire before calm was restored. The detained officials, Finance Minister Suleiman Seidi and Secretary of State for the Treasury Antonio Montero, faced scrutiny over an alleged $10 million state fund withdrawal. An anti-corruption inquiry on Thursday investigated payments to 11 companies, sparking opposition claims of close ties between the companies and the governing coalition. In a daring nighttime operation, National Guard soldiers armed with AK-47s and bazookas invaded police cells, liberating the officials, taking them to an undisclosed location. Friday morning witnessed the presence of ECOWAS regional stabilization forces patrolling the streets, adding a new chapter to Guinea-Bissau's history marred by coups since gaining independence in 1974. On Monday, at the Armed Forces General Staff Facility, President Sissoco Embalo announced that he had dissolved parliament, saying state institutions could no longer function normally because of complicity between the National Guard and certain political interests. Following the announcement of the dissolution of Parliament, President Sissoco Embalo visited the main army barracks. From there, he paid a visit to the barracks of the National Guard General Command Facility and finally to the Rapid Response Brigade. Following these visits, President Embalo summoned the Council of State, which is the counseling body to the head of state, to update them and discuss the political military situation in the country. Reporting for QTV News, I am Lena Igwenyiba.
From international, let's now take a look at sports news. A Finland-based Gambian bodybuilder Dauda Baji, alias King David, says he's dieted for more than a year to prepare for a pro-qualifier competition. Our sports reporter Mamadou Gajaga caught with him, and this is his report.
Preparing for a bodybuilding competition in which the ultimate winning prize is to become a professional requires a lot of investment, financially and physically. Dauda Baji, alias King David, says as a bodybuilder, he can spend up to 1,500 euros a month on himself and had to diet for more than a year to compete in the pro qualifiers because he wants to win.
Yeah, it's a crazy diet, because I diet for 1 year, 2 weeks, which is very difficult, because you have to eat healthy, and the more your weight is going down, the more your food is going down. It's not easy sometimes, even like if I tell you wouldn't believe, bodybuilding is very expensive. Like only to eat in a month, do you know how much I spend? Do you want to know? Just a month.
Yes, of course, definitely.
Okay, just a month you can spend 1,500 euros on yourself.
After he won 3 gold medals in all 3 categories of the Finnish bodybuilding pro qualifiers, Dauda still fails to make it to the pro level, for which he blames the judges. He said his disappointment, but he says he will do more in his next competition to get the ultimate prize.
When the judges decide, you just accept. It was painful. I was crying. Tears were coming out. I was so emotional. But I give thanks to the Almighty and, knows that, there's not yet my time. My time will come. And once my time comes, God's time is the best.
Dauda also says that apart from the diet and training at the gym, there is a tough side to the sport, which is occasional sleep deprivation. He also says that to maintain your body shape, muscle, and weight, complete discipline and the right mentality are required.
Could you imagine during my during my competition, my body fat was 2% on stage. Could you imagine 2% on stage?
That's amazing.
It is amazing. Before I started my diet, I was 105 kilos. And then on stage, I was 93 kilos.
Until he gets his pro card, Dauda says it will be hard to attract sponsors. He urged Gambians to support him by following him on social media and says most of his followers are Europeans, even when he competes as a Gambian.
The Gambia people to push me up there to the next level, you know. So like I said, it's only the European people supporting me even more than my home country, which is not okay for me, you know. So I'm giving everything for my Gambian people. I have only Gambia, you know, I'm a Gambian. So, and I go on stage, I'm going for the Gambian, the name Gambia. I'm not going for the name Finland. So I want my people to push me, to support me to that next level.
Bodybuilding is the use of progressive resistance exercise to build, control, and develop one's muscle via hypertrophy. An individual who engages in this activity is referred to as a bodybuilder. It is primarily taken for aesthetic purposes over functional ones, distinguishing it from similar activities such as powerlifting, which focuses solely on gaining physical strength. Mumudu Gajaga, QTV News.
Well, that's all we have for you, but before we go, a recap of our main news headlines. The Presidential Meet the People tour reached the West Coast region, and President Barrow told Gambians to prepare for how the National Development Plan will transform key sectors of the country, including agriculture, health, education, and tourism. As evidence of his above statement during his tour of the West Coast region, President Adama Barrow inspected work on major development projects that are designed to transform the socio-economic status of the country. The Vice President of the Gambia, Muhammad B.S. Jallow, addressed global leaders at the Heads of State Summit at the ongoing COP28 conference in Dubai in the UAE. In international news, Guinea-Bissau's President Umaro Sissoco Embalo announced on Saturday the foiling of a coup marked by gunfire and clashes in the capital while he was attending the UN's COP28 climate conference in Dubai. And in sports news, a Finland-based Gambian bodybuilder Dauda Baji alias King David told us how he dieted for more than a year to prepare for a pro qualifier competition. Well, that's all we have for you on this news bulletin. Join us again at 10 p.m. for more news. Thanks for watching and have a great evening.